Hi, everybody. It's Amalia, founder of S.T.E.M Braids and Beyond. And today I'm here talking about Katt Williams and the things we learned about him academically from his interview on Club Shishi. I've always loved the guy. Didn't know anything about his background and his academics, but this is literally falls under the gap where I say that the STEM gap is due to a lack of knowledge, not a lack of aptitude. So Katt Williams gets into college at 7 years old, and Shannon says to him, "Hey, why would you blow that opportunity?" And he said, "I didn't know that was an opportunity." And you can say, well, that was the love of his parents. He even said that when he told his parents what he wanted to be when he grew up, nobody knew what it was. And that is half the time what happens with in STEM. Like recently, I heard an orbital dynamicist, and I'm like, what job is that in STEM? If he said that to his parents, do they even know what it is? And how do you coach a child into something you have no idea of? One of the things I also say is that if you ask an underrepresented child, which according to the National Science Foundation is a Black child or all women of all races, if you ask them what they want to be when they grow up and it's not a STEM job, chances are they will not pursue STEM. But if the parent doesn't even know what it is, no one in their community, the teachers or representation in the community, which is hard because there's so few people who are Black in STEM, that the conversations aren't had. And so Katt Williams gets a full ride to college. Any other race would know their child is a genius. They know that they would bribe the child to go to college. And he said, I just went there and everybody looked serious. So I decided I didn't want to go. One of the things that I thought was incredible, though, is that he was reading fluently by the age of 3. A child who's reading fluently by 3, he said by 6, he had read all of the encyclopedias. It's indicative of a child who's outgrown his environment. And so him leaving home at 13, I'm surprised he stayed home that long. Like that is indicative he's outgrown his environment. He's outgrown his environment if they can't find a way to challenge him. And I guess that was going to be the purpose of college. But here's the thing: a child who is Black and cultured and knows what fun is, uh, the stringent environment of STEM and universities at 7 will be too much. Did nobody know this? Um, uh, he read 3,000 books between the age of 8 and 12. I feel like that's a stretch. I feel like he misspoke, just like he got the dates confused. He was saying 2019 or 2009 when he meant to say 1999. I think that's what it was. But 3,000 books, I don't think it's far reach between 4 years for a child who's an avid reader. My son is nowhere close to that smart, but he's a pretty smart kid. And I remember one time the library had a competition for the most books read, and he got disqualified because he read too much books. I ended up buying him a cheaper version of the first place prize, and he had to write a report on every book they had all of it, but they thought I was filling it out and telling him what to say. I didn't even have the time. I was in college. I didn't have the time to do it. But I think that's believable in 4 years if the child's only desire is to read, it's possible. He also said that he had no extracurricular activities. And here's the thing, depending on the family's finances, that is a very normal thing. And they were deeply religious. He also said that he was speaking when he did mission work in Haiti. He was reading, speaking another language, and practically running. He was being given responsibilities that allowed him to mature. Like I said, by the age of 13, I'm surprised he stayed at home that long because he was smarter than his environment. And here's the thing. That same thing is happening in underrepresented households across the US and actually globally. Globally, wherever there are underrepresented people, that it exists. And it's the thing that caused me to start my work at S.T.E.M Braids and Beyond, to get the information into families who may not know how to recognize what they're seeing for their child. Another thing where he spoke about, this is so funny to me, where he watch every comedian and counted and how many jokes. It makes me feel like it's a comparison to Thomas Edison, but when it comes to jokes, he was treating comedy like a scientific experiment. The sad, heartbreaking thing is that he had the ability to pursue STEM. Instead, he pursued art. In STEM, or in the scientific community, they've structured it where a person has to be given credit for his ideas. In art, you still like an artist. And so he's having scientific expectations of a field that is known for taking and borrowing other. It's not plagiarism if it's not scientific or it's not documented. Art doesn't have plagiarism. I've never seen that mess. I've never seen plagiarism used in an expression of art. So it's heartbreaking that he has a scientific approach to something that does not have the credibility he has. And so here's the thing. If you are somebody who's in art and people keep stealing your work, you should have probably been in STEM. That's one of the ways to tell. I created content that people stole, and I said to myself, I ain't never creating something else until I could protect it. When I started looking to patents, you had to have a technical expression. And that's how it led me to my first patent, because I needed something that was protectable. Art is not protectable. And so those were the things that I got really, I was blown away by. But here's the thing, he's exceptionally gifted. I also was able to find out this. His IQ is 163. The IQ of Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, and I think Bill Gates was the only person who came close to him. His IQ was way higher than Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, which means that had he not been robbed of a childhood and parents who can put around him the academic structure that is needed to excel, he could have probably been Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos, or one of these people that we look up to and are trillionaires. I know he said he's one of the richest men alive, but nobody's out here knocking out Amazon because Amazon's work is protected. He got patents and trademarks are hard to put on business processes. Guess who has them? Amazon. It's the reason no other online competitor even comes close, because they've protected their shit. Look at the same thing with Facebook. They were able to understand the technical and business side of the strategy, partially through mentorship. All he has is art. And my heart breaks for him as a fellow artist turned scientist, data scientist. I feel for him. But this is what my work is working to address and try to protect children in the underrepresented community from. Don't pursue art, pursue STEM, and then express yourself artistically. The pattern recognition game I have that is a part of my program, I didn't even know this. You cannot protect a game. But because I first designed it as a board game, guess what? That shit's protected. I didn't know all this stuff, but when I got into the scientific part of it, the stuff just followed. And that is why I'm here, like saying, get your kids into STEM. It takes as much time for them to study STEM as it does a lot of the, not STEM, schoolwork, as it does a lot of the other activities. There's a way to give your kids an upper hand in education, in wealth, in pursuing a meaningful life, if we can just understand and place value in education. Well, thank you so much for stopping by today. My LinkedIn link is below in the description. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the word with somebody. Somebody needs to know. Thank you so much. Bye.